I am live. Really? That's too easy. Well, there it is. I'm live. I have no idea what it sounds like. Guess I better check and make sure that something's coming through. We'll see what the delay is. Wow, probably a little less than 15 seconds. So that's not too bad. I just thought it was a good time to kind of kick back and cool down from all the silliness that's going on out there. Emma, how are you? Oh, it's coming through good. That's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that. I never know. It's not late night for you, is it? It's about 5 in the morning. I think, as I recall, you're in London or somewhere in England, in the UK. Ah, okay. I'm well, as you can see, I'm an old guy. I'm amazed at our technology that at 9:45 p.m. my time, I can be talking 4:45. Wow, you're up early. You're either up early or up really, really late. I hope you're just up early. I'm in Oregon, kind of south of Salem, the capital of Oregon. So I'm way over on the West Coast. John, you made it. My earlier streams were just test. The first one was OBS and it failed, and the second one was Streamlabs and it failed. So now I'm back to StreamYard. I have no idea. StreamYard seems very hit and miss. Sometimes the music sounds better, yet it distorts. Terry Himes. Terry Himes is the very first person who ever showed up on one of my test streams. Terry was number one. I'll give you a sneak preview. Yeah, Emma, we have a lot of trees. In fact, just in my neighborhood, there's many 80 to 100-foot trees, pine trees. So you only worry about them during a big windstorm. So yeah, John tried to link up with me earlier. I was doing a couple test streams and they failed with Streamlabs, and the other one was OBS, and I'm just missing something there. So I thought we'd have just a little late night. I don't know. I thought I'd just go live. I didn't see anybody else live. If you see anybody else going live, let me know, because I probably don't want to miss them. I'll give you a preview though. I don't know if any of you got to watch my video today of the Reverend Manta Ray. This will be my next video. It's almost an identical guitar. Yeah, unfortunately, it does look lovely. It is lovely. I always thought it's kind of one of my bucket list things is somehow get over to London. It's really odd how the brain works. My goal is to go to London and have real fish and chips, which I suspect probably taste similar to our fish and chips here. So. Yeah, that's kind of was always kind of something I thought I might do when I retired, and since I just retired a few months ago, I was hoping that maybe I'll actually do some traveling. Terry, the Reverends are just, man, they're good, you know. Well, I'll give you the sneak preview here too. If you watch the Manta Ray, the back and the sides on these are one piece of wood, just like a. Turn the music down here. If you ever saw a Gibson Johnny A, they're a little bit thicker and maybe a little smaller body. And John, congratulations. You're like me. Are you feeling kind of like you retired in the nick of time with this with the coronavirus? So I just retired of course I worked for the health department, so I think I really did retire in the nick of time. Yeah, Emma, I heard today that Mr. Johnson closed everything down, and we're kind of doing that here as, oh, John, I hope not. Wow. Wow, I hope not. That's not good. Get the zinc lozenges out if you got them. So try that. Yeah, here, Emma, everything's we're doing it kind of state by state, but here in my state in Oregon, most everything's closed down, minus the grocery stores. You love Johnny A. I do too. I wish he had. He's just kind of doing individual gigs now on his own. He was so much better. I got to meet him a couple times, so I feel honored. uh, so yeah, the Johnny A's like, for the signature models, they cut him loose, I think, but sadly. So I hope he goes somewhere else and gets a signature guitar. So John, if you haven't, I don't. Even though I worked in a clinic and around medicine all my life, I'm not a doctor, and I don't want to play one on YouTube. But um, you might look into some of the research on zinc lozenges, and the sooner the better. Um, there's some evidence that they actually are quite effective for viruses like coronaviruses start in our throats and in our upper sinus passage, or it's our lower sinus area, but our lower down at the top of the throat. And it works for some people. Dwight, I got the whole crowd here. So I always say on the streams, everybody I really love are all right here. You want to, yeah, so you don't want to get it. Those are like melt in your mouth. Yeah, the one's called coldies. And the research I read said for some reason it doesn't work with everybody. But the trick is to suck on them as long as you can without swallowing, is the one thing I read. I read another thing the other day that said it's more effective if you do it while lying down, and I've not read that, so I don't before, so I don't know if that's something new. It's all the Johnny A I'll play, so I don't get a copyright strike again. I've been using these backing tracks on the live stream, well, on my videos too. And only on the live streams, though, I get copyright strikes because people are taking the Boss Roland backing tracks, recording over the top of them, and then selling it as original material on CD Baby. Craig, Craig, thank you so much today earlier for educating me on what when I looked at that on the filters thing. This is about the old the video I did 2 videos ago on the Keeley Memphis Sun pedal, and it had an H something HPL and an LDL. And if I'd have looked, I'd have thought, well, H is probably high and L is probably low. But Craig knew what it was and filled me in, so I posted his quote into my information on that pedal. So yeah, good for you. Yeah. Yeah, I always call myself an audiophile, but I'm a fake one. I have stereo old school stereo gear, but it's not real high end at all. It's quite low end, in fact. And but I years ago, about 10 years ago, no more than that. Gosh, now it's been, oh wow, 16 years ago. My oldest brother passed away, and up in his attic, he had all of his records from when he was a kid and all of my records. But somehow I left them over there. So you design and build speakers. Wow, interesting. You I don't. I think Craig, you're a fairly young guy compared to me, as I recall. Um, but when I was a kid, yeah, that's a Reverend Craig. That's a Reverend Tricky Gomez. That's going to be. That's not the one I did the video on. It's a different one. This may be the next one, but it's almost. Okay, you're 40. I don't know. You're familiar with radio. When I was a kid, they had a place called Lafayette that was a mail order place. You could order just about anything electronics, from capacitors or speakers or whatever. And for some reason, in the town where I lived in Salem, they opened up a store there, which was just like it was like a Goodwill, aisle after aisle, but it was all electronic stuff. And you could go in there and, you could buy any type of speaker you wanted, small ones for 50 cents and really big ones for a couple bucks. Yeah, that headstock does look like a G&L, doesn't it? I hadn't thought of that. Yeah. Yeah, on the Manta Ray it had three per side, and this has them all in line. And that's about the only difference. This has different pickups in it. This has the Revtrons and the Manta Ray I did earlier that I had came out today, who has the humbuckers. And I'm a fool. I love them both, so. Uh, and you may think the blue lights that I have in here are really changing the color of this, but it's really not. It really is that. It's called Alpine Green. And I wish they'd have made it in some other. It's not my favorite color, but I've gotten used to it. So. You remember it? Yeah, Lafayette, and I think the other one. We were as a kid when I was playing in a band. We Bent Rossum himself. Hey Bent, you haven't seen Tom, have you? That's a joke I could come up with in chat. So. Yeah, I just noodle around mostly. I hardly ever. I used to do a lot of recording. A friend had a studio, and I had just my own small, so I did a lot of recording, and I still put together some of the stuff you hear in my videos. The intro, it's not all E-band. Some of those are just backing tracks that I put together. Haven't seen him. Yeah, me neither. Better slow it down, or that will get a copyright. I've never done voiceover work. No, I have a great speaking voice, really. I did not know that. I listen back. Of course, I think we're all that way. I mean, I listen back to when I make a video and go through it and think, man, my voice does not sound so great there. But Alface, how are you? Yeah, a friend of mine taught me years ago how to. He was a part-time disc jockey, and you kind of it's there. I don't use it, but it's called an epiglottal push. Anybody know what that is? It's when you kind of force your And it's the high time in the capital city at 2:40 p.m. and 43 degrees, as they kind of push their voice a little bit. So we used to joke around with that a lot. Yeah, I hope everybody's well. I'm John. I especially want you to kind of take care. Do what you got to do. That's good to hear. I spent years. I just retired. I worked 45 years in alcohol and drug and mental health, and so I probably developed a slightly more voice with a cadence or something. Although now I just lose my thoughts, and have no idea what I was going to say. Aha. Oh boy. Well, the good news is, I mean, you're having senior moments. Yeah, yeah, that happens. I actually, in 2005, I came down. We keep talking about coronaviruses. There's so many viruses. Started as for fun. How's that for a weird hobby? But I read way back in the 90s the book The Coming Plague by Laurie Garrett. And so I saw this coming because she said it was, with all the different types of viruses out there. And then the other one was on Ebola, was The Coming Plague. I read dark books, but it was all science, so um, yes, Hal Face, that is true. I don't even know if it's that they're dark. I On the semi hollows, they're closer to the filtertrons, but they're still not. I mean, I feel like I can pull out one of the really cheap Gretches with the Broadtron pickups and come closer to a filtertron with those than with these. But these have their own volume. So this has the Revtrons and this, and I had it in the Club King. Yeah, the Manta Ray that I had today that I put out today was humbuckers. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you read that book way back in '95, you said, "Wow, someday we're really going to get hit with something." And when you talk to some of the real serious research people, not when you talk to them, when you read their stuff, they they all say this probably isn't even the big one. So hopefully we'll come up with something. Yeah. Well, the good news is, there's a guy. He just had a show on Netflix. what was that called? Pandemic? Was it I've watched too many shows lately. But there's a guy with a real small research firm that's working on a. Yeah, I think they do too, Emma. He's working on a singular flu shot that you would get right now. They've got it to work on pigs, according to the show I saw. I don't know where they're at since the show, but and in a 3-shot series, which I thought was pretty good. I think they started out with 7 shots or something. So they're trying to get it down to 1 shot and hope to go to human testing at some point. And it's a one-time shot, and it's working with pigs. I don't know what the percentage of tests they do with pigs work out with humans. Probably not very high. I know with mice it's like 8%. All the testing people do with mice, only 8% of the stuff ends up working at some level. I can't even tell where I'm at. It's so dark in here. Are you talking about the solid body ones, Craig? Oh, in the Streamliner series, I had the Electrojet. That's not what it's called. I don't remember what it's called. And I traded it off to a friend of mine. He still got it. I had a couple of them, actually. Even a silver sparkle one. And I liked them, actually, quite a bit. And I don't know why I got rid of both of them, but electromatic bass. I do too. I have that little, I don't know if you've ever seen it, the little student bass that's kind of almost, I don't know if it's 3/4 scale, but it's a much shorter scale. And I love that. Ah, I love that song. I don't know why I don't. I learned a variation of it, but not the right. We just ran the chords down like Walk Don't Run. Yeah, so I know I traded the one to my friend because it was a hardtail and I wanted one with a Bigsby, and I never got around, and none of our guitar centers around here carry the solid bodies. Now the hollow bodies, Streamliners, you can go back and look at my videos. I have I don't honestly know how many videos I did on those. Yeah, weird time. Yeah, 5/4. Yeah, you got the Bronco bass. Yeah, I don't know if you watch my videos, you probably heard me talk about having arthritis and scoliosis and all that good stuff. But I probably had something going on even when I was a kid playing in a band because I was drawn to short scale basses going way back. I have a fairly new Fender Mustang, and that's the bass I had as a kid primarily, along with a bunch of other ones. Uh, but So yours, John, is a 30-inch, so that's short scale. Well, maybe mine's 30 inches, actually shorter than I think my Mustang's 30. I'll have to dig it out, and I want to do some bass videos. 59 was great. Miles came out with kind of, what was his album called? Kind of Blue. And Brubeck came out with Take Five. And those are really, I listen, I love jazz guitar players because they do stuff I don't. I don't get it. But even though those guys aren't guitarists, those are like my two favorite jazz CDs that I got. So a 3/4 Fender P bass. I didn't know there was such a thing. Wow. Yeah, I learned on my brother's. Well, how are you? Yeah, my brother had it. My older brothers were in a band when I was a little younger kid, so I had them as great teachers. So I got to learn bass, and one played lead, one played bass. So I was lucky. Oh, you got me, Bent. Who's Gil Evans? I don't. Bill Evans. I know him. Ah, okay, Charlie Mingus. Yeah. Oh, okay. I may have to look him up. That's what my drummer, when I was in a band, my drummer and me grew up together, and still talk with one another. And he always just said, he said, there's so many good drummers, but he said when Buddy Rich got on the seat, man, it was. Yeah, I was thinking of Bill Evans. I actually some of his uh, CDs. So yeah, I listened to a lot of albums. So I was saying when my brother passed away, I inherited all his albums. Somehow he had gotten my middle brother's albums, and he had all of my albums from my youth. And so I don't know what I have, eight, six, or more than six, probably around 8 boxes of albums, and I still haven't gotten through all of them. Oh man, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, I mean some of those are probably, well, you would have to look and look and look for years and years and years to try to replace the even your favorite ones out of that batch. So oh, that was in 2004. Oh, so we were talking about viruses, and that I've been a virus kind of hobbyist in looking at them and reading about them for years and years and years. Then in 2005, I caught not a coronavirus, but a virus called an adenovirus, and what was I at the time? 53, and I ended up in a coma for 21 days and in the hospital and a nursing home and was off work for 6 months. And um, that's when I really having that same virus within the next 1 year period. And one guy was a real healthy teacher in the town that I worked, and he passed away. And they, yeah, summer, yeah, and you can just look, and it's so rare. Like when you go to garage sales, if you're looking for jazz stuff. It's so rare. If you need the Monkees' first album, you can find 10 or 15 of those over the next summer. But yeah, I don't. No, I have only vague kind of partial memories of most of that time. So I was able to piece back. I stayed at home for the first week thinking I'd get over it. And finally, got to the hospital. And I walked in the hospital. They said, "Oh, you're back." And apparently, I'd gone there the day before and like refused treatment or something like that. So parts of my memory are a false memory. The humor of it is right before I got sick, I was at a garage sale and I bought um, VHS tapes. I don't know if you know what those are. Showing my age here. And I got the complete all of the Northern Exposure tapes from the TV show, and I had been watching them kind of in my spare time. And so I have a very clear memory of my doctor talking to Dr. Fleischman from Northern Exposure. And of course, that didn't happen. but, um, and yeah, so I had all these kind of Northern Exposure memories. And no, Sonia, welcome. I didn't see you come in. How are you doing? I hope you're well. Um, I worked in they're actually just like medical clinics. There's lots of people coming in and going out, and you can just pick that up. It's a little bit of it's not a rare one, but it's not all that common either. Shows up in boot camp, and it shows up from people returning from Hong Kong quite often. So it was kind of there's no way to. I probably got it at work because I didn't. None of my friends, my girlfriend at the time, didn't get it. Didn't have it. So, so yeah, I had lots of northern exposure memories. So, Bet, I just read a thing the other day how VHS tapes are making this huge comeback uh, with the younger folks. And I thought that's kind of cool. I mean, instead of there's so much plastic there and waste, and if you can get some reuse, I still have like 2 boxes of stuff. I think just stuff I recorded off TV, like airplane shows or something like that. Really, toenail fungus. Wow. Huh. Apparently, we have a lot of that here in Oregon because it's wet and damp. You know, usually I still have I still have a couple of reel-to-reel tapes, and we question if one of them doesn't have my brother's band um, playing live on it. And I've never gotten a good enough reel-to-reel because I don't want to mess with the tape because the tapes get real brittle. So I would want to set up a recording thing if I was going to play it and record it regardless of make sure I have it on the tape. So have it on recorded digitally from the reel to reel. Reel to reels are really expensive. Yeah, I used to do a lot, not a lot, but some. Um, I got all my family's Super 8 movies, and some of them had some bad spots in it. So I started editing, converting back before you could go get it done anywhere. I would take people's Super 8 movies and put them over to VHS tapes, so they had all their movies on a tape, and that was kind of fun. And I ended up, yeah, I had to do a lot of splicing, and it wasn't it wasn't hard, but it wasn't very fun either. Oh, 2-inch tape, man, the real stuff. Wow. Ah, yeah, we're old school. I still have my Tascam cassette 4-track recorder around here somewhere. I keep thinking about digging it out and messing around with it. I probably have some of the original tapes that I worked on way back when. So, TIAC. I think I have a TIAC. I think I have one, but yeah, I think I have a. I remember everybody coming back from Vietnam all came back with, I think it was TIAC, stereos and reel to reels and just all sorts of, because they could buy stuff at the PX and they always bought it right before they were getting out. So, how cool, Sonia. Wow. Nakamichi, I don't recognize that name. I don't, well, I spent about half of my adult life buying to garage sales, and sometimes the magic works and sometimes it doesn't. And I finally bought one of those fairly cheap, it was like $99 from Sweetwater or Musician's Friend or somewhere. And that has a USB jack so you can actually play the record, and it came with recording software. You could play the album and it would record right to your computer so you could make a CD. And you don't want to do that a whole lot. That really is time consuming. And but I took kind of my favorite albums and converted them over to CD. It was interesting because, and Tom, you can tell me if it's real. Hi, Rick. How are you? Whoop, there's an alarm. Sorry about that. 4,000 albums. How long did that take you? That must have, man alive. Yeah, the Yamaha stuff, I never owned any of it, but I always heard it was really good. I remember when we started going to digital recording, the real high end stuff, everybody, I think one of the Crusaders albums was recorded all on Yamaha stuff, and it was like one of the first albums that was all digital. And I went down to the local music store and saw the price on one little piece of equipment and said, wow. Yeah, I'm at the bottom of the barrel. I buy those. Well, I've got a few things, but I think downstairs I have it's a consumer grade Yamaha. Is it a Yamaha? I think it is, but it's an AM FM amplifier, so I can just run. And upstairs here I have those little Radio Shack AM FM. They're all separate. The AM FM tuner and like a 5 watt amp or something like that. And then I started collecting that stuff. That Well, I find it. Tell me if I'm just totally out to lunch, but I found when I recorded some of my old albums over to CD, a couple of them I recorded, and I actually had the re-release CD that had been remastered, and my CD sounded better than the remastered one, going straight from the album to a CD. It had a warmer, it had some of that actual album LP, and it reduced some of the scratches that were on the record that I'd pick up on the turntable, and you got really good speakers. Yeah, yeah, mine are not high end. I That's kind of my experience, Bent, is that the remasters, I always worry about it. They just sound like they're not mixed right or something. They just totally lose the feel. And even if you just get a best of that hasn't been remastered from way back, they often sound better. So, yeah, okay. Well, I'm not out to lunch then. That's good. Rick, I just saw your comment up. Your Marantz drops pictures off the wall when you crank it. Yeah, mine doesn't quite do that. Now I know real stereo folks aren't big on Bose speakers. I hear, uh, but that's what I have because I came across one set for like $3 at a garage sale. So I have them downstairs, and then another set, a bigger, better set for $60 used. That yeah, I've heard those little radios are great. Yeah. Ah, okay. The RIAA EQ curve. Okay, well I know what an EQ curve is, so. Well, really, Page's remaster sucked too. Wow, that's sad. Yeah, I'm always chasing the EQ on some of those remastered CDs. Yeah, I think mine are 201s, and the other one's a variation like a 200B or something like. It's a little bit smaller, and they're kind of wedge speakers. But the ones upstairs, the bigger ones, they sound pretty good. Terry Polk, Arfanaut Polk, are those speakers? Oh, stay away from the 901s. Oh, okay, so I done good. Okay, that's good. Robert Clark, hello. Horrible rain in Georgia. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I think we're hanging in here. We're trying to convince John to go get some zinc lozenges from Walgreens. What does that mean, reverse firing? Oops, where am I? Oh, oh. Oh, now those I've heard of, the clip ones. Yeah, I remember hearing about. I'm guessing those are really high end ones. La Scalas I've never even heard of. Wow. What was the ones the Grateful Dead actually used them as power amps, but they were stereo amps originally, and then they worked with the guy in the company. A friend of mine had, gosh, now I can't remember what those were, but they were supposed to be really nice stereo gear, and he had a stereo Macintosh. Thank you. Yeah, yeah, that's an easy one to remember. I should. Does anybody ever play a song and you have no clue where you got it from? This is a folk song that we did way back when. I don't remember the words or anything else. I didn't sing it. Yeah, if it's pretty basic rock, folk, um, I thought about doing a video on that. Just how do I learn a song, you know? And I can usually pick it out. When it gets into jazz, I get lost pretty quick. Um, you know, with rock or almost anything other than jazz, you can oftentimes just listen to the what the bass player's doing. And Craig, what does that mean? You can hear every penny of cork? Yeah, this guitar is. Yeah, those are really the Manta Ray that I did the video on today and this one are probably my two favorites. They play great, they sound great. They give me that Johnny A vibe. Um, without the money, without the investment. So, ah, yeah, I Johnny A is just if you ever get a chance. Well, he had his own band. He had about three different configurations of bands. And the middle one wasn't quite so good. The last one he had was, man alive, those guys were good. They had to all be studio cats or something. I don't know. They were so good. And now he's kind of just playing by himself and evening with Johnny A. And Kenny Greenberg. No, I don't. I don't even know that name. It doesn't ring a bell. I am writing it down though, because you said uh, he's a studio cat too. I'm gonna look him up. Yeah, yeah. So you can really tell a difference in that. Yeah, I actually now that I'm older, you get your wisdom after it's too late, you know. But yeah, if I could go back and do things differently, I would wear protection um, and not sit 5 feet in front of Bugs Henderson at a tavern and let him blast my ears out, where other people like live concerts, and I'd probably wear ear protection when I went skeet shooting and pheasant hunting as well. Skeet shooting in particular. Yeah, if you folks want to take a look at other people's channels and subscribe to one another, although I'm just guessing you're all subscribed up to one another already almost, because you're all the names I see in other chats and all around. So, yeah, I don't have it set up for that for this stream. I could, but I mean I don't. I thought we'd do a low key in the blue lounge in the blue room tonight with everything that's going on. But you can get down and dirty with this thing too. I mean, it really. Oh, hey, Craig. We'll talk to you later. Thank you for stopping by. I didn't see you were going there. Yeah, these are great little. I should show them on one of my streams or something, but I can. Well, maybe I can't. There, we just turned it to green, and white, and quick, back to blue. And it has an up and down. They have really cheap. They're made in China. The lights, um, really cheap remote controls. But you get two of these lights. They're actually made to be yard lights, so they're supposedly they're weatherproof. And I went out and spent money on like a ring light and a studio light with barn doors, and these things just plug in, and they're LEDs, and they you can change colors, you can make them flash, you can do all sorts of different things. Put them on a slow. They're kind of like the lights, if you're of a certain age, that for the aluminum Christmas trees, the rotating wheel that would you can make these kind of cycle through. Yeah, little square ones, Mint. Little square ones with a little swivel stand thing. Yeah, they're like $32 for two of them through Amazon. Yeah, they work really, really well, and they really. I mean, that I've got them on dim. Yeah, they really go up pretty high, and they will. I actually don't have either one of them aimed at me. One's aimed off to my right, and the other one's aimed in front of me. So sometimes the one remote control will control both of them, sometimes not. But you have a choice of, I don't even know what the colors are. There's a light green, maybe? I don't know. There's a reddish purple. Ouch. And there's a very bright. Wow, even on low, that bright orange is something. Man, that's blue, that's green. Oh, there's red. Yeah, that's white. That's an off-white. I don't know what that button does there. Quick, get it back to blue. Yeah, those are on low. I actually have them about 5 feet in front of me, but I mean, so you could set them back quite a ways from you and turn them up, and they would still light up the room pretty well, I think. You're colorblind. Wow, man. I had no idea. Wow. I had a friend that was colorblind. He only got his. They let him get it. They were real strict back then, back in the '60s, and real strict on not being colorblind and getting your driver's license. And so, he just used logic and knew where knew where the green light was and the yellow light and the red light. And if you uh, so they'd show him like a stoplight, and it's like, oh, if it's up on top, yeah, that's red. Yeah, that's red. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what he did. He just and he also adapted where to him something was dark red and somebody else would say it was pink or purple or something like that. Or he just knew that what he saw as dark, he didn't have a reference. So when people would say that's pink, he knew what that color was because that's what everybody called it. So I do. Yeah, that's another one of those songs. Whoops. Oh. Wow, could only see in black and white. That's got to be. I love, I'm still even to this day, even with digital photo, I'm a black and white photographer. But no, I would not want. Well, yeah. So when that's I don't remember. A lot of people recorded that song. It's called "One Sweet Letter," and I like the version. I don't remember the guy's name. He's got a Scandinavian name, but he's kind of popular um, here in the. He's from the U.S. I think. No, he came over maybe. Yeah, Ansel Adams' work. Man alive. Wow. I watched a show on him and they showed what his photographs looked like going straight from negative to print without any of his magic. And you would look at those and say, well, I can do that, because they look like fairly average pictures. They were still good. They were still really, really good. And, but it was everything he did in the dark room to really do a lot of the magic. And now I have to see if I can find out who did One Sweater. He's an actor too. Oh, I'm in the studio. I'm not in YouTube. Okay. Let's get out of here. I hope I don't cut us out. James Intveld. INVELT? TD? INTVELD. Yeah, and back in the old days when I had a dark room, I was always trying that stuff. And man, you can spend hours and never get there, and you can spend a lot there. There's some things about digital photography that I really like. That it's quick, it's instant feedback, and I don't remember if they showed the plates. My recollection was they just took it from his plate or his negative and printed it over to paper straight without doing any magic, so you could get a sense of what the straight photograph looked like coming straight from the picture. Yeah, that's my other channel's photography that I have on YouTube, but I just do local events. It's digital. And the downside to digital is you become a kind of a point and shooter instead of thinking about having to save film, you just start snapping away. So I just do local parades and events. I still have all my old 35 millimeter cameras, and I still I have way more cameras than I have guitars. That's for sure. I still load up a roll of film, and yeah, yeah, I shoot raw if I'm doing landscape kind of stuff. If I'm doing the street stuff, I still do JPEGs. I wish there was something in between RAW and JPEGs. I do JPEGs because I want a quick turnaround time. And, in the old days of film, I probably would have shot like 3 or 4 rolls of film for some big event, maybe five. And now with digital, I carry two. Well, I always carried two cameras, but um, I did the Lamb and Wool show at a little town. uh, the yearly Lamb and Wool show, and man, I took like about 300 pictures and had to go through them. Mickey, how are you? And Brian from Oregon. That's two of us from Oregon. And Sonia, do I remember right? You're from I want to say Texas, but maybe Oklahoma. Emma was here earlier from London. From Texas. Wow. So you do a lot of live concerts? Because you really had, I don't know what part of Texas. I guess it depends on what part of Texas you're in. I guess where I'm going, I mean, obviously there's the Stevie Ray Vaughns and what have you, but did you ever saw who was probably my favorite bluesy rock and roll guy of all time? Yeah, Ben, I was talking about that with Emma earlier. That it was I what did I say? That was about 9:30 our time, or when I first got started, and oh, Bugs was a small guy. He's the type of guy he never made it really big or famous. And he's the kind of guy you'd pay $10 at the local bar to go see. And Emma is back. Yeah, I was talking with Emma earlier, saying it's just amazing. It's I guess maybe due to my age, I'm just in awe of the fact that I can talk with somebody in UK, and here I am on the west coast of the U.S. and everywhere in between. And Working gun ranges. Yeah, my here I don't think I have as bad a hearing as I did, but yeah, I did a lot of skeet shooting and pheasant hunting, and the skeet shooting is, you know, that's just constant, one thing after another. So, um, without hearing protection back in the old days, and I went to a lot of loud concerts, and I played live. I don't think playing live. I don't think that was the thing. It was when I went to concerts and stood right in front of them. Well, Humboldt Bay is down in the Bay Area. You're trying to find him to contact him, Vint, and he's back in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, my cousin just moved up from California. And he's from, well, he lived in Tahoe, but he's from San Mateo, and he bought a place out in the country, and it's all the pot farms out there growing. And he said, "Oh my gosh, I thought it was bad down there." So yeah. So Mickey, did you wear hearing protection? Probably not, huh? Yeah. Oh, night, Sonia. Nice talking to you again. Stay safe. Yeah, yeah. I think. Yeah, yeah. I had a hearing test when I was in my 20s, and the guy said, "Well, you got a hearing. You're lost a range there where birds tweet, and you might not hear real fine kind of detail." And he said, "I'm going to guess one of two things. You either did a lot of shotgun, or you did a lot of shooting, or you went to a lot of concerts." And it was like, no, I did both, you know. So, but I've never had it be. It's never posed a problem. I, although, well, I did pose. I mean, the only time was I was doing some recording and I was mixing in background violins, and I had to bring them way far forward to hear them and arrange them over the other music, and then once I think I had it right, put them in the back, and then ask people, "Can you hear that? Is that okay?" Yeah. Oh, Ben, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, yeah. I think it has. I think everybody's different. I think it has good medical uses for some folks, and uh, maybe not for others. So I worked in mental health, so I saw, you know, uh, some marijuana didn't impact most of the folks I worked with, but a lot of marijuana really did. It would really exacerbate symptoms, but nothing at all like meth or something like that. Yeah, good for you. You got off the benzos. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I started off my career back in the 70s working in a medical detox, and it was mostly alcohol. We hadn't, heroin hadn't fully hit, so we didn't see, it was designed around alcohol, but we did see some benzo withdrawals, and that was that was pretty rough. And if they got too bad, we had to, well, same with alcohol. If they got too bad, we had to ship them off to the hospital. Yeah, yeah, they're pretty habit forming. I mean, they certainly, in the 70s when I worked in an alcohol detox, we're gonna bore everybody here, aren't we? But yeah, we used a lot of Valium for alcohol withdrawal, and that's because you use it for a very short time, and you use it at certain times and focus times. And yeah, Brian, that was the state. Well, there was the county mental health on Center Street. That's right, Brian from Oregon's here. And then there was the state hospital, and I worked at the state hospital for 17 years. Yeah, the withdrawal on benzos can be really tough. Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, withdrawal is an interesting study. I only worked about 3 years in straight alcohol and drug before I switched to mental health. But um, the withdrawal and recovery time of each drug is kind of a there's probably studies on it already, and I just haven't seen. But it's a fascinating kind of thing. But actually, when they have done some studies on the brain, the little area that gets tickled by whatever it is, whether it's video games or drugs, that it. Yeah, Brian, I spent a lot, 17 years there, and then I went to work and worked another 25 years in county mental health. Yeah. Oh, that's sad, man. That's too bad because they could have. Dwight, you're heading out? Good night, Dwight. I hope we didn't bore you and send you running. Yeah. Well, you have a good night, and hopefully we'll see you. I don't know if everybody's really home or I'm staying home because I'm retired and I don't really have anywhere to. I can go grocery shopping and we can. I guess we could go through a drive-through, but even that feels a little uncomfortable at this point. But yeah, well, I'm surprised they didn't use another benzo to get you off the other benzo. I mean, you can do that if it's a short-term use. We did that a fair some. We'd use like Librium to help get people off of, and then when that didn't work, we'd go to another one. So you're going to work, Dwight. Wow. Are you in? You're in Missouri, as I recall. Are you? I know you're heading out, so be safe. Um, I hope work is safe for you. Meryl J, did I ever say hello to you? I saw you in here. I don't know if I ever said hello. Hello if I didn't. So part of the country are you, let's see. I love to know where people are from, what part of the country. And I know, Bent, are you Pennsylvania? And Dwight was Missouri. And I'm Oregon. And Brian from Oregon is from, Oregon. Yeah. Whereabouts are you from, Merrill? Ah, Terry, yeah, that's right. You're Ohio. You're from PA, okay. My grandfather years ago lived in Pennsylvania, and I remember he was the photographer in the family, and he was in the 50s, Pennsylvania. And I remember watching family slideshows. Oh, that's right, Rick. That's right. You're way up. Yeah, man. Way up there. I couldn't live up there. For some reason, when I go into high altitudes, I don't even have to go that high, but I start losing oxygen. So, and I nod off to. I certainly couldn't drive. I just go to sleep. So, yeah, yeah, Ben, you want to stay away from there. Yeah. In Gunnison, Mississippi. Now, there's a town I've not heard of. Wow. I don't know what that is. Multiple. Nope. Cythemia. Nope. That's throwing me off. Ah, okay. That's right. Robert is. He's in Ohio. Yeah. For some reason, that's Eastern Time Zone, right, Terry? Yeah. For some reason, I think of him as East Coast, further east. But yeah, I forget that the Eastern Time Zone goes all the way there. Wow. So it's making too many red blood cells trying to kind of like make up the difference for being so high up, maybe. wow, to reduce the red blood cells. I went through that. Not for red blood cells, but similar for high iron levels. And I didn't have to do it every month, but it was every 3 months, and that was enough for me. And they thought I had hemochromatosis, and for some reason my iron levels would creep back up, and so every 3 months we'd just do a blood test, and that would be enough blood to reduce it. At some point, I always used in my youth, I still have it, my cast iron skillets, and I never believed any of that the iron would actually break down and you'd get it. And so at some point I quit using cast iron skillets, and all of a sudden my iron didn't go up in my blood, so I didn't have it. I had some markers for it, but Brian, we'll talk to you later. Oh, wow, I've been on an hour and a half. I can't believe that. I cannot believe over an hour and a half. Wow, I was going to get on and off in an hour. I think I'm going to close her down here. I didn't realize we were on that long. We'll see what I got in the way of E-band. See if I can't pick up another copyright strike. I have no idea what any of this is. Or where the play button is. Beyond my ability. Smooth Jazz 2 with a rat lead. Really? See? Is that coming through pretty clear? Am I blurry? Wow, that's interesting. It's nice. The picture I have on my screen is actually quite clear. It's not too blurry at all. It might be that I just don't have enough light to really get it to autofocus. I don't know. Whoa. Well, folks, we will see you down the road. I really appreciate y'all coming in. It's just been great. I'm trying to learn about streaming. I used StreamYards earlier and failed. No, Streamlabs and failed. And then I used OBS and failed. And so I went back to StreamYard, and it seems to be the only thing I have any success with. So. Well, folks, I thank you for stopping by and saying hi, and hope we didn't bore you too much with our medical talk. We'll stay away from that next time around. So, Hippie, you're here. Oh gosh, I'm just finishing things up here. So hopefully, maybe we'll see you tomorrow night or some other night or something. I don't know. Staying home with nothing to do, may as well stay up late, huh? So we will talk to all of you tomorrow, or probably on somebody else's chat. So we'll talk to you then. Okay? Have a good night and stay safe out there. Do stay safe. Talk to you later.